All right, let's do a 3-year review for my crowdfunding of real estate platform investment. Hi, I'm John McNeil, and this is the Invest Strong Network. Welcome. So, in the fall of 2018, I invested the sum of $15,000 into the Groundfloor crowdfunding for real estate platform. Now, there are lots of crowdfunding platforms out there, CrowdStreet, Patches of Land, Realty Mogul, others. I chose Groundfloor. And Groundfloor was really cool because you could invest in various house flipping projects for as little as $10, right? So in the fall of 2018, I invested the sum of $15,000 in two tranches. The first tranche was a $10,000 investment in September 14th, 2018. The second was a $5,000 investment on the 30th of October 2018. Now, in that time, or in the time since, this $15,000 has turned over numerous times as projects have come to completion and they have been liquidated. I have been repaid in full along with interest. So the numbers are going to kind of jump around a little bit here, right? But I would like to present what I believe is a solid return total for the 3-year project as of today, being early November of 2021. Now, in the past 3 years, the investments that I've made have totaled some $32,600. Now, again, that's the $15,000 of Brother John money, let's say, and then the rest of that has been funds that have been repaid with interest, and then reinvested, right? But we're talking about 32,600 in total. All right. Now, as of right now, there is the amount of 57 current projects that I have invested in. Now, of this 57, and let me first of all say this: Groundfloor grades, put an interest grade, credit grade on their projects from A, which is the least speculative and lowest yielding loan, down to G, which is the most speculative and thus the highest yielding loans. Well, all of my investments have been kind of middling level investments. So currently, there are 57 investment projects that I've made that are still out there, right? Now, of the 57, 4 are B level loans with an amount of $1,200. 48 are C level loans in the amount of $13,180. And 5 are D level loans in the amount of $900. And I have no loans in the E, F, or G category, or A category for that matter. It just didn't yield enough for me. Though the ones in the A category and the ones in the lower categories were just too speculative, I felt, right? So that's 57 active loans at this point. Now, in the last 3 years, I have had a total of 107 loans for projects that have repaid. And of the 107, that comes to an amount of 32,600 that has been fully repaid. And of the repayments, I've been able to clip an 8.3% total return on the repayments. Yay! We'll take that. I mean, not grand slam home run territory, but not bad, right? I'll take that. Now, Uh, Groundfloor has recently, fairly recently, also began to offer uh, note investing, right? So these are kind of short-term notes that they offer that you can buy in amounts normally minimum 1,000, and the notes normally last 6 months or 3 months, and it's repaid in full, right? And there's no risk to those particular notes as there would be to the flipping projects that you would be investing in. Now, I have in fact invested in one of those notes recently to the tune of $1,000. It is a 3 month note that is yielding 5% annual. Okay, so I just thought I'd put that out there. All right, so let's look at the performance of the 57 loan projects that are still out there. All right. So 29 of the 57 are performing in accordance to the original loan agreements. So that amount comes to the amount of $5,490 when all the estimated projects come to fruition, and that would be an estimated 10.1% return on the investment in those projects. That is when they come to full completion, right? That's the estimated return. Now, I have 16 of the 57 that are in a category that Groundfloor lists as extended. Well, what is extended, you ask? Well, apparently they will have a project that is due to go for a certain term. Once the project is completed, it is then sold and liquidated, and then all of the investors are made whole with interest. Now, in the course of doing that, if something comes up and there's a delay of some sort or something happens, and quite often in these flipping projects, always something happens, right? And so of the 57 loans that are out there for projects, 16 are in the category of extended, meaning that they've had to go back and kind of redo the original loan covenant. Well, those extended notes have a value of $4,370 and an estimated return of 10.8%. Because once the covenants are redone, they'll normally bump up the interest rates and also extend the payments out over a little longer period of time, and that makes a higher return once the project is completed. Now, most troubling, however, is the third category, the default category. Now, of my 57 projects that are out there, 12 are listed as defaults. Now, in the default category for crowdfunding projects, this is not the same as a default for a person-to-person loan, right? So a default on a person-to-person loan basically means your money is gone. But these are securitized loans, right? Secured by the value of the underlying real estate. So of the 12 defaults, Groundfloor reasonably expects to recover some or all of the investments that they have made with your money in these projects, right? Now, I've had other defaults that have happened on previous loans, and what I have noticed is that the return on the defaults are actually in the low single digit category, right? So once everything is recovered, you could expect to receive anywhere from 2.5% to maybe 4% total return on the defaults. However, Groundfloor is they're playing a little loosey goosey, I think, with some of the loan estimates, because of the 12 that are listed in the default category, representing some $5,420 worth of invested capital, Groundfloor still believes that they could return a 10.4% off of those defaults going forward. I don't know about that because, like I said, historically, the return on the defaults are in the low single digits. So I don't know where they're getting this 10.4% from, right? Unless they know something that certainly I don't. And of course, maybe they do since they're running the whole thing. But just historically, as far as I can tell, the return on investment on a defaulted project is nowhere near 10.4%, right? Anyway, after taking all of this into consideration and the estimates for payouts going forward, and also the $1,000 note that's out there for 3 months, which is a guaranteed securitized note, my year-over-year return for the Groundfloor investment has been, since 2018, about 8.75%, right? Okay, I'll take that, right? That's middling, and I'll take it. I really don't have a problem with it. Now, here's the thing. I have noticed that the projects that have come to completion in the last, say, year or so, that these projects are actually coming to completion way ahead of their original projections, right? So most of the flipping projects have about a 12-month term on them. And a number of the repayments I have noticed have been in the 7 to 11 month range, right? That's kind of reflecting the strength of the overall real estate market in the United States of America, and specifically in the South, which is where most of these projects are centered, right? So now, once you are repaid in full, and if it comes in ahead of the term of the loan, then that means you won't get as much interest as you expected, but you are much more liquid, and thus you can turn around and make new investments in other projects. And so, you're fine, right? But I have definitely noticed that many of these projects have been completed and reimbursed with interest far ahead of schedule, right? So overall, I would give my Groundfloor crowdfunding for real estate account on a scale of 1 to 10, right? I would give it a solid 7.5, right? Now, much of that still, of course, depends upon these defaults, right? Because if in fact Groundfloor cannot get what they expect to get from the defaulted projects that they foreclosed on, then this total return number is going to come way down. In fact, it's going to go into the toilet, using a construction and renovation comparison. It's going to go into the toilet if they're unable to do that. But they are saying that they will be able to do that. And so with that being the case, I'm going to say the crowdfunding for real estate project has been good. All right. Thank you so much. Hope you appreciated it. Please subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Leave a comment. I always love to hear them. And please subscribe. All right. Oh, and hit the thumbs up button. I'm sorry. How could I forget that? Thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, friends, and good blessings.